So, Mysteries of Portsmouth is great fun. What happened is, a few years ago, I brought out some horror stories based in Portsmouth, and people kept saying to me, have you got any real ghost stories? And I'm like, well, where would I find real ghost stories? So I went to the British Newspaper Archive. I looked back over the last 300 years, and I found all sorts of strange and mysterious things. I looked for the paranormal, supernatural, unexplained, UFOs, ghosts, witchcraft, the whole works. Even legends of King Arthur have a connection with Portsmouth, as does the curse of King Tutankhamun. So it's been great fun to do this research, and the thing that I ask all the way through it, whilst I look at all these legends and myths and stories that appeared in newspapers, I ask the question, is it true or is it fake news? Because sometimes when a story is told, it's told in such a way as to accentuate the strange and mysterious, and we see that quite often. We see things where stories have been eroded by time so that people aren't quite sure about the facts of a story, but we also see in this book genuine mysteries, and that's really the great fun of this, that it asks that question, why are these mysteries? How did that happen? A favourite mystery of Portsmouth? I think my favourite is probably the curse of King Tutankhamun, which I just think is perfect. It turned out that the guy who found, or the European guy I should say, who found the steps into the tomb, retired to Drayton, which is a suburb of Portsmouth. And during the dig, he informed Howard Carter of this find of these steps. Howard Carter then famously opened the tomb, and everybody else in the entire expeditionary party died, except basically for him and I think one other. And every time that he said there was no curse, something terrible happened in his life. This one I think is really fascinating because you really do ask the question, was it coincidence? Was the fact that there was actually a curse written above the door of the tomb something that got into people's minds? Was there something in the tomb that was actually killing people, or was something else going on? So it's really, really fascinating, that one, and the way it's told by the newspapers is the newspapers are clearly loving the mystery too. So that's great fun, that one, yeah. Well, I was very, very picky because one of the things I didn't want to do, it's quite easy if you say to people I'm doing a ghost story, or a collection of ghost accounts of ghost sightings, it's very, very easy to say, oh yeah, well, I saw one down the pub and my mate saw this. And what you get very often is you get people who go, well, you know, I always get a bad feeling when I go into that room in that hotel. And those ones, whilst they're anecdotally interesting if you're sitting down the pub opposite somebody and they're telling you that story, they don't have any meat to them. And I wanted stuff that was actually documented, that had a historical precedence to it. And that's why I decided to go through the British Newspaper Archive, because that's stuff that had reached a level of importance that it actually was bothered to be reported by the local papers. And I think that's really kind of the benchmark that I set. There's loads of other stories that nearly make it, but aren't quite precise enough or clear enough about what's going on. So yeah, I mean, it's got a lot of historical stories in there, but at the same time, there is also stuff which is live now and present now. And one of the stories in there is sightings of ghosts in the dockyard, which I have spoken with people who work in the dockyard who to this day say that they've seen strange and unusual stuff in there. It's whether it then reaches a level of making it to the newspapers as well, because again, you're in that world of, oh wow, I saw this guy, but there's no knock on to that. Very occasionally, the stuff which makes it into the newspapers is of an extremely dodgy provenance. But that's also worth investigating, like somebody saying that they saw, there's one story that I include in it where they're in the dockyard in the present day and they say they saw the ghost of Emma Hamilton. And they even caught video of it. And of course, well, I'm sorry, but there are loads of people walking around the dockyard in period costume. So you catching someone in period costume is not evidence that Emma Hamilton's ghost is walking around the Victory. So it's kind of fun like that as well. It's kind of putting on a skeptical eye and questioning the reports as well. And that's one of the other things I do in the book. Yeah. I mean, this book is really good fun if you love your historical accounts of the UK, if you love the strange, the bizarre, the unusual, and also if you just enjoy asking the question and working out whether it's true or not. People should buy this book if they enjoy a bit of a mystery, but also finding answers to some of those mysteries as well. It's really a great fun read. So yeah, and heavily illustrated as well, so good fun too on that level.